Anda bersama kami dalam Sports Matters. Jadi pastikan anda bersama kami dalam Sports Matters yang dibawakan oleh Sinar Daily. Kita jumpa lagi selepas ini.
Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone and welcome to the Sinar Daily Sports Matters podcast series with me, your host Adila J. Sam. The Sport Matters podcast is a space where we discuss issues related to sport both in front and behind the scene. In the previous episode, Soaring Upwards, we will discuss exactly that moving forward after the SEA Games in Cambodia. We had two victors from the athletics team sharing their training plan and game strategies. And for today, we have two important people in the world of sports. But before I introduce them, who wants to win RM200 worth of Al Ihsan shopping vouchers? This is brought to you by our telco partner, Red One. All you have to do is save 3 keywords of this episode and drop all 3 keywords at the comments box. I will be mentioning the keyword throughout the program and make sure you guys stick with me till the end. As I said previously, we have two important people in the studio today of our discussion on the role of politics and advertising in sports. Let's welcome our two guests, Farid Yunus, Red One Network CEO, and Shauki Kahar, renowned sports commentator. Yay! Welcome to the Sinar Daily Sport Matters.
Thank you,
How
Dila.
are you? Apa khabar?
Khabar baik Dila, khabar baik.
Baik, duduk baik.
Alhamdulillah. Dila.
Baik dan masih handsome.
Alhamdulillah.
Siapa? Cik
Okay.
Joki? Memang lah.
Cik Farid lebih handsome. Cik Farid.
Dua-dua
dia.
handsome.
Dua-dua handsome.
Okay, how about you guys introduce a bit about yourself and tell your background. What sport do you like? Maybe any of you?
Okay.
Quick turn.
Saya Shauki Kahar, seorang pengulas sukan. Saya dalam bidang penyiaran selaku pengulas sudah lebih kurang lebih daripada 30 tahun. Saya bermula di RTM dan kemudian menyertai TV3 dan selepas itu ke Astro Arena dan sekarang saya bersama dengan saluran sukan RTM. Jadi bila bercakap tentang cara sukan kegemaran saya, sudah tentu saya menyertai sukan bola sepak, badminton, hoki, renang. Itu antara sukan yang menjadi kegemaran saya lah.
Macam sekarang masih bersukan lagi tak?
Pada usia yang sudah pun melebihi hampir memasuki 60 tahun, sudah tentu kita punya stamina untuk berkecimpung dalam bidang sukan itu dah agak-agak terbatas. Tapi setakat orang kata itu recreation sports, ada kadang-kalanya bermain bola sepak tapi tak boleh lama. Lebih kurang dalam 5-10 minit dalam padang, kena keluar. Kalau tidak nanti pengsan dalam padang.
Alright, how about you, Mr. Farid?
Khabar? Nama saya Farid Yunus and selaku CEO Red One Network Sdn Bhd. We're here today also sponsoring the segment. Masa saya muda dulu, saya main semua sukan yang tinggi-tinggi sebab saya 185 cm. Jadi volleyball lah, basketball lah, handball, tapi saya pun dah 50 tahun nak loncat-loncat ni agak susah. So I still play badminton once or twice a week, tennis sometimes on the weekend. Tapi always doubles lah. Singles tak larat lah, main double. But as a company, we are very supportive of sports in the country. Dalam 5 bulan pertama tahun ni, kami sudah belanja hampir 3 juta ringgit menaja pasukan, tournament, individu dalam 5 bidang sukan. So we try to help young athletes, the ones who are overlooked by the national bodies. In fact, we even have 6 young badminton players on our payroll. Dia tak kerja, tapi dia pakai gaji tu untuk pergi tournament, flight, accommodation. So yeah, we are very committed to growing sports in Malaysia.
All right, that is great to hear. Thank you for your sharing. Well, I'm excited to go to know you guys more after this. But first, as you know, the 32nd SEA Games Cambodia are over. I am confident that our team will return strong for the Asian Games this year, notwithstanding what we accomplished. However, the heat is still here, especially for our para-athletes who will be competing in the 12th ASEAN Para Games in June. So let's wish them the very best. All right, here are some updates that happened over the weekend. Sports and Youth Minister Hannah Yeoh defies critics she won't be stepping down despite dismal SEA Games outcome. She needled on critics who demanded her resignation, calling them oblivious to the fact that the ministry has already predicted that Malaysia would win fewer gold medals, which is had pointed out even before the country contingent was sent to Cambodia. Chef de Mission Datuk Muhammad Nasir Ali emphasised the need to evaluate the quality of athlete rather than the quantity of medal, urging a shift in perspective. Datuk Nasir acknowledged that although the contingent had given their best effort, they fell short of their targets. YB Hannah Yeoh later said ideally sport should be kept clear of politics. The involvement of politicians in sport association, this being when she mentioned former Minister Datuk Sri Shahidan Kasim role as a president in a few associations. However, she did not rule out the importance of influential people in obtaining sufficient funds and solving the financial shortcoming of a sports federation. Here are just some of the updates from Malaysian contingent. For more updates, make sure you to visit www.sinardaily.my. So guys, the games are over, but drama has just started. And that is why we'll be talking about the role of politics and advertising in sport. I think before we dive deeper about the topics today, let's look back on the SEA Games performance. It's been a hot topic this day, and some were calling it the worst performance ever. So as a sport enthusiast, both of you, Mr. Shauki, what do you think happened that caused this to be the worst performance?
Thank you, Dila. Kalau kita melihat dari segi prestasi, sememangnya pencapaian dari segi sudut pungutan pingat, kita mencatatkan keputusan yang tidak baik dengan 34 pingat emas. Jauh dari sasaran kita 40 pingat emas. Apapun kita harus mengucapkan syabas kepada atlet-atlet negara yang telah berjuang di Sukan SEA tempoh hari. Dan pada saya, kita harus bangkit dari apa yang berlaku di Cambodia. Dan setiap pihak yang bertanggungjawab perlu sama-sama turut bertanggungjawab. Pihak-pihak yang berkepentingan untuk kita memperbaiki di mana kekurangan yang berlaku dalam setiap acara sukan yang disertai, yang gagal itu. Dan lebih mungkin mengecewakan apabila kita melihat sukan-sukan pilihan seperti sukan acara badminton yang tidak menyerlah pada sukan SEA kali ini. Dan pada masa yang sama kita juga harus melihat bahawa saingan yang kita terima pada pentas sukan SEA adalah agak berbeza daripada sukan-sukan SEA yang lepas, tamasya-tamasya yang lepas. Kalau kita lihat negara tuan rumah, mereka menggunakan ramai atlet-atlet naturalisasi dalam acara-acara tertentu. Jadi dari segi di sini saya melihat bahawa sukan SEA itu harus dinilai, turut dilihat sebagai antara pentas sebenar untuk menguji kekuatan atlet-atlet dari rantau Asia Tenggara. Itu pandangan saya buat ketika ini.
Alright, thank you for your thought. Okay, Mr. Farid, the target was 40 gold medals. What do you think our Malaysian athletes were just out of luck, or other contingent is stronger?
Well, you mentioned YB Hannah Yeoh tadi. People asking her to step down, and that's complete nonsense lah. You do not build a team of athletes, a contingent overnight. You don't do it in months. You don't even do it in 1 year or two. It has to start from the grassroots. And let's face it, I think Cik Shauki will agree, over the last 20, 30 years, there has been a huge deprioritization of sports, in schools even. If you look at the condition of a lot of sports facilities, some don't even do PE as a subject anymore. Because they say, oh, we have to focus on academic. What parent wants their kid to play football instead of going to university? Kebanyakan akan pilih anak dia akan ke universiti dapat kerja yang baik. Sebab kalau main bola, sungguh pun you national team pun, you dah bersara, you merana. You know, there's no future. They think that way. But if everyone were to think that way, how come the Singaporeans could get 51 goals? And we only got 34. Singapore lagi kiasu pasal akademik. Tapi dia boleh tewaskan kita 3 juta versus 30 juta orang. Because they invest. You should see the facilities in Singapore. Superb, world class and well maintained. That's the difference. You got to start at the grassroots and you got to fund it.
Yes.
So don't look next year or don't look 2 years down the line. We've got to be planning for 10, 20 years down the line. But investment has to be made now.
Thank you for your opinion. So this is, I want to know from both of you, from your view, like how can we as a whole bounce back from this? When you mentioned starting from grassroots, how about you, Mr. Shauki?
Memang benar kita harus bangkit dari peringkat akar umbi, di peringkat awal lagi dan menyentuh tentang pandangan yang berhormat Menteri YB Hana tentang pembabitan politik dalam sukan. Sebenarnya kita harus melihat ke belakang tentang negara kita Malaysia sudah membangun dalam aspek sukan di mana pembangunan itu berserta dengan pembabitan orang-orang tokoh-tokoh penting, tokoh-tokoh politik, tokoh-tokoh kepimpinan yang sentiasa bekerja keras untuk membangunkan sukan di negara kita. Saya melihat pembabitan politik dalam sukan ataupun tokoh-tokoh politik dalam sukan ini dalam beberapa sudut ya. Jika pembabitan ahli politik dalam sukan membawa lebih condong ataupun membawa niat ataupun mempunyai agenda-agenda tertentu, sememangnya itu tidak sihat dalam sukan. Tetapi kalau pemimpin politik ini, mereka menyertai sesuatu persatuan sukan, badan sukan dengan niat untuk sama-sama dengan pihak kerajaan untuk membantu di mana yang boleh, terutama dari segi aspek kewangan, itu saya rasa satu perkara yang positif yang harus kita sama-sama beri kerjasama untuk sama-sama membangunkan sukan. Sebab sukan adalah satu platform ataupun agenda yang memerlukan perbelanjaan yang sangat besar. Segala-galanya memerlukan perbelanjaan untuk membangunkan seorang atlet sehingga dia sampai ke puncak kejayaan. Itu pandangan saya.
True, I agree. For Mr. Farid, thank you. I would like to thank Red One for being our telco partner here at the Sport Matters for the SEA Games coverage. And you also our partner during the World Cup for Putih Forum. Thank you so much, Red One. So, this question I want to ask for you. What is it important for Red One to be involved in sports?
I think it's important not just for Red One, but every corporation that can afford it to invest in the country and invest in sports. We've seen too many companies pull back from sponsorship of sports. CIMB does a great job with squash, for example. But even they have had to cut funding. And part of the reason is because corporate funding for sports is not tax exempt. There's no benefit to companies to investing in sports. I've mentioned this to YB and Yeoh, and others have told her the same thing, which is why I think a few months ago they announced a bunch of measures for companies and allowing tax deductibility. But until now, we've not seen the details of this plan, you know. So we also have a yayasan, Red One. We have a Red One Foundation. And when we submitted our charter of this foundation, they told us, yes, anak yatim boleh, budak sekolah boleh, tapi sukan kena ambil keluar. You cannot include sports in our foundation's charter. I mean, what nonsense is that? And then you complain we get 34 gold medals sahaja di SEA Games. Where the government is short in funding sports, companies should step in, or rich individuals should step in. But give us a good reason to, other than the goodness of our heart.
Saya sangat kagum dengan penglibatan Red One dalam komitmen mereka dalam penajaan sukan. Saya rasa tindakan ini adalah satu contoh yang baik. Pada satu ketika, kerajaan pernah melancarkan kempen penajaan korporat bahagian agensi-agensi korporat dalam penajaan sukan. Kalau kita masih ingat Rakan Sukan, program Rakan Sukan pada ketika itu. Dan dengan pembabitan program Rakan Sukan, kalau tidak salah saya, menjelang kita menjadi host kepada Sukan Commonwealth 1998. Jadi banyak pihak korporat yang terlibat yang telah membantu kerajaan sama-sama untuk memastikan agar kita bukan sahaja berjaya menganjurkan Sukan Commonwealth tersebut dari segi tuan rumah, malah kita juga memberikan booster kepada atlet-atlet negara kita supaya lebih cemerlang berlatih bersungguh-sungguh untuk mencipta untuk dapatkan pingat. Jadi saya rasa program ini adalah satu program yang sangat positif dan apa yang dilakukan oleh Red One harus menjadi teladan, contoh kepada pihak-pihak korporat yang lain kerana kita harus ada semangat kerjasama sebegini. Barulah kita dapat, apabila atlet menyedari yang ada kerjasama bahawa apa yang mereka lakukan itu mendapat perhatian dari banyak pihak, kebaikannya itu akan datang kepada negara kita juga. Itu yang saya lihat.
Yes, agree. So there are some like small issues during the SEA Games Cambodia, which is on the part of advertising. So about marketing and promoting the SEA Games, SEA Games in Malaysia this year, what are your thoughts? Because there are some companies that they cannot watch directly from TV, and then even they try to search on Facebook, they cannot find anything. So what is your thoughts, from both of you?
RTM telah memainkan peranannya sebenarnya. RTM telah membawakan siaran secara langsung sepanjang SEA Games sebenarnya melalui platform saluran sukan, TV OK dan juga TV2. Cuma dari segi jumlah masa siaran mungkin ada sedikit terhad. Di sini mungkin pihak yang lain ataupun pihak yang bertanggungjawab yang lain harus turut memainkan peranan, turut sama-sama membawa liputan yang lebih meluas kepada sukan SEA ini. Kerana menjadi tanggungjawab pihak-pihak tertentu itu untuk melaporkan perkembangan tentang atlet-atlet kita semasa di sukan SEA. Jadi dalam hal ini saya melihat, saya mengucapkan syabas kepada pihak RTM kerana telah mengambil perhatian untuk membawakan siaran secara langsung pada tamasya sukan SEA lalu.
Alright, thank you. How about you, Mr. Farid?
Pada pendapat saya, the coverage was very limited. Berbanding dengan tamasya sukan yang lain. It's hard to find updated medal tally, what events were happening live. And so I think ramai orang Malaysia tak tengok pun. Kita tak tengok, tak tahu.
Alright. Okay, so this is just a personal question for you. What do you do as a CEO of Red One? And do you have any favorite sports until today that you cannot leave that sport at all? This is like a random question.
I like a lot of sports actually, golf, tennis, badminton, squash. But I guess because I play badminton myself, that's the sport that I feel closest to lah. Kalau kita lihat pemain Malaysia dalam final World Champion, kalau dia kalah, saya menangis. Dia menang pun saya nangis. But that's what sport does for people, you know. It's a uniter of a nation.
Bercakap tentang badminton ya, saya terlibat dengan beberapa buah TV station semasa zaman kegemilangan Datuk Lee Chong Wei ya. Dan pada masa itu kita kerap membawa liputan live kejohanan-kejohanan badminton di peringkat Super Series. Dan dewasa ini kita faham bahawa setiap kejohanan badminton peringkat antarabangsa melibatkan TV right. Jadi bila melibatkan TV right ni memang pihak stesen tertentu memikir 2-3 kali sama ada mereka nak hantar kru ataupun nak buat liputan ataupun tidak, kena melibatkan perbelanjaan. Tapi pada masa yang sama di sinilah komitmen yang perlu ada juga dari pihak-pihak penaja. Pihak penaja perlu turut terlibat bekerjasama dengan pihak-pihak TV station tertentu untuk membawakan liputan ini secara langsung kerana dari tajaan mereka itu ada banyak ROI yang disediakan ya. Saya melihat antara kejayaan arena badminton kita pada masa lepas turut sedikit sebanyak turut bergantung kepada penglibatan pihak-pihak stesen TV ini membawakan lebih banyak kerap mereka membawa siaran secara langsung. Apabila kekerapan itu berlaku, dia akan menerbitkan rasa minat di kalangan rakyat kan, untuk sama-sama menyokong pemain badminton kita yang bertanding pada masa itu.
Alright, Mr. Shakir, you mentioned you have been in this industry for 30 years, over 30 years. So can you share where exactly you started your journey as sports commentator, and do you have any specific reason why you are passionate about this career?
Ya, pertama saya meminati bidang sukan itu sendiri. Di peringkat sekolah saya bermain bola sepak dan juga sukan sepak takraw, tapi lebih condong kepada bola sepak. Dan selaku pengulas, antara acara sukan pertama yang saya ulas adalah bola sepak. Itu kejohanan bola sepak peringkat Piala FAM ketika itu di Kuala Terengganu. Semasa itu saya bersama dengan TV3. Itu adalah sukan pertama yang saya terlibat selaku pengulas. Dan melalui sokongan beberapa pengulas-pengulas senior seperti Datuk Rahim Razali, Syirkawi Jirim, Amin Mahir, Arwah Asa Ahmad dan ramai lagi, saya banyak belajar daripada mereka teknik-teknik melakukan ulasan yang betul, Sehinggalah liputan sukan itu menjala dari sukan di peringkat kebangsaan, sukan C, sukan Asia, sukan Olimpik dan juga sukan Commonwealth. Alhamdulillah saya telah turut bersama dengan kejohanan-kejohanan sukan tersebut.
Alright, thank you for your sharing. So back to the general question. How do you guys think about our sport community in Malaysia as a whole?
It's a very broad question.
Yeah, let's say like you mentioned you like squash, you like a lot of sport, you like football.
Yeah.
So as a community, like mine, I like cycling. I believe that community cycling has grown from years to years because cycling is something that you just buy bikes and then ride, and then you get a shortcut to fat loss. That's the understanding right now. But as an athlete is another part. So what about your thought?
I think we still have good communities of sports. You know, you see the number of futsal courts that have been built over the last few years. I have to say though, don't get me wrong, I like playing games on my phone. You know, Mobile Legend, PUBG.
Okay.
Otherwise, my two teenage boys have nothing to talk about with me. So I can imagine, I give them again. But esports is not sports. It's a game.
Yeah.
You know? By promoting esports, yes, you can get 1 million US prize money and all this. So do we want a generation of obese children who only exercise their thumb? You know? And so fine, by all means, if our government wants to push esports, go for it. But let's be clear, these are not sports. We need our kids to go out there and exercise under the fresh air, under the sunlight, and get out of their rooms and away from their screens.
Right.
And this is what the government should be striving for.
So what your thought about chess?
Chess. It's a game.
It's a game. How about you?
Ya, bercakap tentang e-sports. Perkara ini pernah kami bahaskan di peringkat tertentu, di peringkat perbincangan di kalangan pihak media pada satu ketika. Kita tidak menafikan tentang kehadiran e-sports dalam sukan di negara kita. Tapi seperti yang kita lihat bahawa saya lebih melihat e-sports sebagai recreation sports. Selain daripada lebih jika kita mahu melihat dia dalam bentuk sukan yang tulen. Sukan yang betul adalah sukan yang melibatkan pergaulan di luar, berpeluh sedikit,
physical movements
dan banyak perkara-perkara lain. Tapi kita tidak membantah tentang pembangunan. Sekurang-kurangnya ada alternatif bagi pihak-pihak tertentu ataupun anak-anak kita untuk melibatkan dalam sukan e-sports ini.
Alright, thank you. We have heard a little bit about their experience. We will return immediately and talk about today's topic. Let's take 5 to commercial breaks.
Rewind. Back to basics. Rewind. Back to basics. Rewind. Back to basics. Rewind. Back to basics.
Alright guys, we are back. Remember that I mentioned previously, if you want to win our M200 of Al Ihsan shopping voucher, you need to collect 3 keywords throughout this program and drop it at the comment section box. Okay, the first keyword of the day is wake up call. Wake up call. This is brought to you by our telco partner, Red One. Okay, let's move on with more questions with my 2 special guests today. Alright guys, do you believe that everyone has to nurture their sport talents in sports school in order to develop their sports skill?
Sorry, they need to go to a sports school.
Do you believe that, the children need to go to the sports school to nurture their talent in to nurture their sport talents, or just supporting by parents?
How to answer that? Okay. To me, saya melihat bahawa penglibatan kewujudan sekolah sukan memang dapat membantu lebih mempertajamkan lagi, mempertingkat lagi kemahiran seseorang atlet baru, atlet remaja yang mahu dibentuk. Tetapi bila kita bercakap dari segi untuk kita mencari more talent, aktiviti sukan harus lebih banyak digiatkan. Dalam konteks ini, saya melihat bahawa kemunculan lebih banyak kelab-kelab sukan yang di negara kita perlu dilipat gandakan ataupun perlu ada. Jadi lebih banyak kelab, lebih banyak aktiviti, lebih banyak talent akan dapat kita dapat. Jadi pembentukan kadang-kadang kalau tidak semestinya atlet-atlet yang lahir dari sekolah sukan ataupun tempat tertentu ini boleh menjadi bintang. Sebenarnya bintang ada juga di peringkat luar. Cuma cara pengurusan untuk kita mencari bintang-bintang sukan di luar ni, itulah yang saya kata salah satunya adalah dari segi the more clubs, the more talent can be scouted.
Alright, looking back at your era, Mr. Shaki, what are the most popular sports and why?
Yeah. At my age, during my school days, of course, we look at football and badminton because we are strong in that sports. Yeah. So if we flash back in 1992, we are champions of Thomas Cup. At the time, everybody wants to play badminton, and at one time earlier than that, we have hockey. We did host the World Cup hockey here, and we can remember how those days people at my village at Kampung masa dulu, they even cut pokok-pokok, the string stick untuk bermain hockey di kampung-kampung until that stage. The atmosphere is very tremendous at the time.
How about your year, Mr. Farid?
My year?
In your era?
In my era wasn't that long ago, But I just want to go back to your earlier question on sports school. It's a good idea in concept to have all your best players of whatever sport in one place where they live, breathe, sleep badminton or football or whatever it is. But from my personal experience, like I'm also the president of Selangor Squash. And there are some kids who get called up by Bukit Jalil Sports School. And the parents are the ones who say no. Not because they don't want their child to become better, but because they're concerned about academic standards. They want the child to have a balanced sports and studies. But BGSS apparently, the studies is secondary to the sports. And not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to take in consideration the parents' views, especially with your children, teenagers. So I think maybe we can do some improvements in terms of BGSS and other specialist sports schools. If you look at some of our most successful athletes, like Datuk Nicole David, for example, she lived and trained overseas. She never attended Jalil or any similar thing. And a lot, unfortunately, sometimes we need to fund our athletes to go overseas to train. Sometimes their facilities are better. Sometimes their coaches are better. We have to admit lah, coach kita bukan yang terhandal dalam dunia, but that's fine. So we need to be able to fund them to go and get the best training possible wherever that may be. But in my era, badminton lah.
Badminton.
Datuk Lee Chong Wei. Actually, every week also I play badminton with Ong Yu Hock. Dia pun sebaya dengan saya, umur 50. Tapi masih handal lagi tangannya. And so, badminton I think.
Badminton that time we have Tan Bong Hiong, Koo Kieng Kiat. We have even strong in single. Chia Song Kit, So Beng Kiang those days.
Dan Datuk Miss Boon lagi.
Datuk Miss Boon, all that.
The legendary.
Razif Jalan.
Last time we have very strong in single and we are also strong in doubles.
All right, let's move to the next question. So this is also a general question. When we talk about politics, there are a lot of things going on, but I want to emphasize the part that politics play in sport.
Sinar daily ni tak ada censorship lah. Tak ada lah. Boleh cakap apa saja.
So, what are your opinions? I mean, like politics in sports.
As I said, pembabitan politician in sports ada pro and cons. Ya? Tapi yang lebih membimbangkan saya sebenarnya, Cik Farid, Dila, adalah pihak-pihak yang berkepentingan dalam persatuan, khususnya, they are playing politics in the association. So that is not healthy. Kan? So if the politician involved in sports and they sincerely want to support the sports, I think welcome them. Let's work together and find ways how to getting better. But don't play politics in sports association because, as a sports supporter as well, I have experience when I see certain association play some politics in the association in terms of to select the leaders in terms of other matters. So that is not healthy. So we must look also certain parts of development sports. So we must have also the right people working in that certain sports association in order to have a good athlete and bringing good result.
Thank you. So the political strategy, what are the political strategies can we employ to promote sports in our country?
I mean, there's two types of politics. There's politics involving politician, and there's politics played by the heads of persatuans who gila kuasa. You know? The danger when you have heads of associations who've been there too long is no one dares to challenge them. And they start to play favourites in selection, in team selection, for example. So sungguh pun ranking ni nombor 2, saya tak suka dia, saya pilih yang nombor 4 untuk mewakili Malaysia. Because end of the day, with most sports, the National Sports Association, whether it's squash, fencing, chess, whatever, they are the ones who submit their name, the players' names, to go and play overseas. And so the head has a lot of power over which athletes compete and which do not. And that's not right. It should be based purely on ranking, or you do a playoff to see who is on form at that point in time before a major tournament. But, you know, if YB Hannah is listening, we should change the whole sports charter and make association heads have term limits. They cannot stay there for 20 years. Maybe 2 term max or 3 terms max, but not forever. And that is detrimental to the sport. People get very disillusioned. I know foreign coaches who came here after a few years, they get so frustrated with being constricted by the politics that they give up and they go back to their home country. And that's not good for Malaysia, not good for Malaysian athletes. All these little emperors, kita kena cantas dia. And that includes me. I don't want to be president of Selangor Squash. Tapi tak ada orang lain nak bertanding. Because they want my sponsorship money. I'm being very frank about it. And so sometimes you need a good penaung. If you have a Tan Sri as your chairman of your sports association, dia angkat phone, CEO company ni akan bagi duit.
Correct.
So it's good to have that sort of leverage. But if you don't bring any value to the table and all you do is like a boss up there deciding who goes and who doesn't, it's not good for the state of sport in our country.
Satu perkembangan yang baik, good thing happening in our sports development in this country related to the association. Few association in this country at the moment, they are using this the involvement of a new post called it CEO. So as we know, the president could be the people who involved in politics or other matters, could be their business matters or whatever, might be busy. So I think if association wants to go further better, they must have a system of employ a CEO to attach to the association. By having the CEO can plan much more better planning for the association. That's what I see.
All right. Thank you. That's a
MFL, MFL have a CEO.
Yeah, the CEO, and we have certain football association others than MFL. We have like JDT, they have a CEO, Alistair Edward. Perak have their CEO. So
PDRM FC pun ada CEO.
PDRM pun dah ada CEO. So things like that. Not only for football, but for other sport as well.
So the next question, which role does marketing serve, particularly when it comes to promoting sports? Because for me, myself, as an athlete before, I don't understand what is marketing, what is advertising.
Yeah.
All I need to do is training 8 hours per day and then give medal, contribute anything I can to national, and then nothing more than that. And then nobody asks about how are you feeling today, about mental health. But right now we are using most everything at media. So can you guys share about what does marketing serve, particularly in promoting sports and athletes?
It's a funny.
Unless you are being supported by the national sports bodies, unless they pay for your training, they pay for you to go for tournaments, you are reliant on sponsors. And we are not yet at a point where our athletes recognize this importance. It's not just about making sure that your red one is on your shirt when you play, because red one is relaxed, but a lot of other sponsors are not relaxed. They want to see the value for their money. If they give you money, they want to see you having their logo everywhere. You're on screen, you have their logo. You get your prize, their logo. Especially if it's telecast on TV or on Facebook Live or online. You need to reward your sponsors. They're not giving money to you because by hati tau. They want to see their brand visible, and they need to remember that.
How about you, Mr. Shauki? I mean,
Yeah.
like in the past era.
I hope the media side would help the sponsors as well. They must collaborate better. We understand the sponsors want their return on investments, orang kata berbaloi. So I think the situation of win-win situation should be there. And if misal kata the media side or TV station needs a sponsorship to bring certain sports to life, as we know now, everything is involved perbelanjaan. So that's where I think the sponsors can come and help the TV channel, and the TV channel can offer them a better ROI for the sponsors.
All right, so for the past SEA Games in Cambodia, we have few athletes that broke our national records. So we want to sustain it and make sure they achieve more, excel more in the future. So what can we do to support athletes in advancing their career and maintaining their sports? What do you guys think? I mean, one of you can share the opinions.
Yeah, part of it, to me, they must be the beneficials of the involvement. Their training program have to be improved. They must be sent more to compete in the outside competition. With all this, I believe that particular athlete can go further.
How about you, Mr. Farid? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I don't know them individually or personally, these athletes that set new national records. I, of course, watched them do it. I don't know what to advise. Perhaps to improve even further, they need to go overseas.
Yeah, exposure.
They need to go overseas. Like, what's her name? The Villa boy in the US. Our runner, female runner.
Shireen.
Shireen, yes.
Shireen.
And she's getting the benefits of being in a US university. And the collegiate sports system in the United States is fantastic. The training that they get, the tools that they're given, the dietitian, etc., etc. Things that our athletes here maybe lack a bit. So, mana tahu, kena pergi overseas kot.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't get enough experience for being an athlete.
What sport did you do?
Track cycling.
Track cycling. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Long distance, short distance, sprint.
Long kind of hybrid. And then like on off because I
Yeah.
continue studies.
Okay.
So that time I got full scholarship. But still I don't have a person to take care of me because basically that time I too young, and then I need someone to support. I mean, what should I do next? What should I
Coach.
do? Coach is just focus on programming. So that's why I'm saying that a lot of my athletes friends end up their career early than their targets. Like I'm right now 28. Actually, I want to stop at least at age of 35 because I believe I can do more. I'm passionate about my sports. If we ask others athletes, some cannot reach my level. I mean, they stop early, maybe at the age of 20 during their unis. So actually, we have a lot of talents out there if we seek them. And if they want to share lah, Some of them macam once they stop, they ignore. Macam merajuk lah macam tu.
Yeah, I know a lot of parents whose main objective for their child to be involved in sports is purely just to get a scholarship. And once they go to university, maybe they represent the university, and after that, habis. They just become social athletes, whether it's badminton or squash, and it's not a bad thing, to aspire to go overseas at a discount. Not everyone can afford to send their kids to university overseas, and not easy to get into local uni also.
Yes.
And but it's a shame that they stop there at university.
Tapi satu perkara yang baik kebelakangan ni saya lihat tentang sokongan ataupun we talk about pembangunan, development in sports in our country. The commitment from KPT, they are now giving a more opportunity
Yes.
to our athletes yang drop at maybe di peringkat akademik untuk meneruskan karier mereka sebagai atlet. I think the parents should take advantage on that kemudahan yang disediakan oleh pihak kerajaan.
I think for National Council, they have one part of department, they call it MACE, to help athletes to find the career after they stop being athlete. But I'm not sure how strong is that department, because during my era, all my group got the chance to continue studies in uni. But the afterwards, I'm not sure what's happened till now, because all I heard is just most athletes end up jual burger, jual jambu. So that's it lah, the story.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a commercial break. Take 5. Okay. Okay, we have a previous winner. We have a winner for the previous episode of Soaring Upwards, Muhammad Hafiz Hori. So the keyword is karate gold medal red 1. That's for previous episode, yeah? So make sure you guys focus.
Red One, back to basics. Red One, back to basics.
All right, guys, we are back with Sports Matters. So we also want to announce the winner for the episode 5, Sharin Khairi. Congratulations. So let's move to the second keyword of the day, red 1. So the first one is wake up call, second is red 1. Make sure you guys get these 2 keywords and then wait until the end for the third keyword so that you guys can drop all 3 keywords at the comments box to win RM200 shopping voucher from Al Ehsan. This is brought to you by our telco partner Red One. Okay, we still have a few more questions to ask, but first our retail partner Aeon Big together with Sinar Daily have a competition for you called Malaysian Hero. All you have to do is listen to our guest's favorite diet plan or nutritional meal and then list them down, shop at Aeon Big. Try to create in most creative way like photos, reel, video and post it on social media. And then tag us Sina Daily MY and also big hashtag Aeon Big. Okay, I want to ask our 2 guests what is their nutritional meal or nutritional plan that you guys love. I need 3 from
Does
each
it look
of you.
like does it look like we have a good nutrition plan?
Just being honest, like the last episode, some of the athletes mentioned banana rice, banana leaf rice.
Banana leaf rice.
Yeah. So maybe what is your favorite food? Your favorite food?
If ask me, nasi kandar.
Nasi kandar, okay.
Yeah, talking about apa diet food yang I suka. What can I say ya? In terms of drink, I suka minum air kosong, plain water.
Good
Warm
example.
water. And biasanya kalau dalam sehari itu saya akan mengambil pisang.
Banana.
Banana.
Very basic.
Ya, dan saya cuba mengawal untuk tidak makan nasi 2 kali dalam sehari, sekali-sekali. Nasi itu sekali saja dalam sehari. Tapi masalahnya perut naik juga ni, yang payah ni. Kerana mungkin kurang jogging kot.
So how about you, Mr.
I
Farid?
think orang muda lain, orang tua lain.
Ya.
Masa kita muda, I can eat a whole loaf of bread and half a cake of butter for afternoon tea. You know, sekarang,
Ya.
Yeah, it goes back to metabolism.
yeah. So I start the mornings normally with a smoothie. My wife will make me a fruit and vegetable smoothie. Kalau tak, I tak makan buah pun. And that's my breakfast. And with some chia seed,
Chia
Okay,
seed
chia
tu.
seeds.
fight cholesterol lah and all this. Sebab umur 50 lebih kita fikir benda-benda ni. Masa muda tak fikir
Tak
langsung.
fikir.
That's good to share. Guys, remember banana, chia seed, nasi kandar.
Fruit smoothie.
Yeah, whatever they mention, please go shop now at Aeon Big and make sure create your creative post. Okay. All right. We are at the third keyword of the day. Okay, sekejap je kan. So the third keyword is Malaysian heroes. Make sure you guys take all these 3 keywords. The first one, wake up call. Number 2, red one. Number 3, Malaysian hero. Okay, a few questions before close. Let's touch on the para games.
Ya.
What can we expect from them this June? Because since there are a lot of goods athletes from para athletes, so what we can expect from them?
I believe our para athlete will perform in the coming para games, and I think with the experience that our athlete have, our para athlete ada, saya yakin bahawa sukan para akan menyinar seperti apa yang mereka lakukan dalam previous SEA Games.
So, what do you feel are the best supported? What can industry players to ensure they provided the best facilities to support to perform for our para athletes? Because as para athletes is different, right?
Well, to be frank, there isn't much exposure to para athletes in the media, Kalau dia menang gol di temasa yang besar, baru kita dapat dengar tau. Tapi sebelum tu tak ada apa-apa. Media also tak feature dia orang, tak feature training dia orang, day in the life, tak ada. So you cannot blame the rakyat or even corporates for not having the necessary knowledge information to provide them with the backing they need. I ni kira sucker sikit tau. Bila orang minta, I tak boleh kata no. Tapi kalau para atlet tak minta, tak dapat lah.
So
Bukan I nak pergi check dia kena check saya.
Ya, betul.
So it goes back to who control the para athletes organization lah.
I guess, or normally it's the individual athletes who reach out to us. They take the initiative. Like you said, no one was supporting you last time kan? So you busy dengan training you, mana you ada masa nak pergi bodek CEO ni, bodek CEO tu cari dana kan? But sometimes that's what you have to do when you're not supported by national bodies.
But there, I think, is part of the duty for the sports association also to involve or to know about this and to help that particular athletes in terms of their beneficial. I think that is the role of also, I can say that is association role, not only to train, to create the programs of training and so on. They must be more closer to the athlete. It's just like one family, I think. They should work that way.
Because I feel a little bit imbalanced in terms of able-bodied athlete and para-athlete because I was once experienced in the Paralympic program because I was one of the pilot for tandem paracycling. So pilot and stoker.
Yeah.
So during that time, a lot of things I see that, yes, you mentioned about exposure, least exposure, even some of them has won Olympic medal, but still lack of support, lack of sponsorship, or else there's just focus on someone that has a big ranking. And then if just now I heard you mention about fencing, right? So in para they also have
Yes.
para fencing.
Yeah.
So surprisingly, there's a lot of interesting sport in para, and people out there never knew that they exist. So hopefully, if you guys watching this, let's focus more on para athlete as well, so they can get better support, so that this will help them to achieve more. Okay, so this is general question. Go back to athlete in Malaysia not always retire well. Many barely could make ends meet. Sometimes some of them cannot find jobs because they don't have the skills. So what can we provide to make a better ecosystem for Malaysian athletes?
I mean, it's not a problem just for Malaysia. I think this is a universal problem where athletes need to plan for their post-competitive future. And it should be the job of the association or
NGOs.
the management of that sport to help them plan what will they do later. Whether it means taking up adult education, getting a degree post your sporting career, or like in Pakistan, for example, if you are a top 10 squash player, you are set for life. A company or companies will adopt you, pay for everything, and when you finish playing competitively, you will have a job there, a house, they look after you. You're like a rock star if you play squash in Pakistan. I mean, maybe we should go back to the old ways where GLCs were forced to adopt a sport. TNB, kau ambil hoki. Celcom, kau ambil bola.
Konsep rakan sukan.
And accept that this is the social cost that the GLC must pay to the country. Do it.
CSR.
YBN lah. Paksa dia orang semua GLC ni.
But that's just a team sport, right? How about the individual sports?
Including individuals. So if you sponsor athletics, for example, okay, Telkom Malaysia, kau jaga athletics. So they have to nurture and look after these athletes, the selected ones who represent the country, for example. Jadi board tak ada complain, kenapa cost kau tinggi, kenapa staff you naik 100 orang. Dia boleh, it's our social responsibility.
I think that is a very good idea. Besides pembabitan involvement of the GLC company to support the bekas-bekas atlet, but in Malaysia kita boleh dikatakan beruntung because government through Yayasan Kebajikan Atlet Malaysia (YAKAP) also playing their role in terms of to give bantuan in many matters. Yeah, and I heard that YAKAP now strategize how to menyediakan peluang, not only giving them bantuan. They want to create an atmosphere of how to give membuka beruang perniagaan atau pekerjaan kepada bekas atlet. I think we should support that. That is a good thing. That's what the government did now.
Right, that's good, Shai. How about like para athletes? Is it the same mechanism to use?
Yeah, I
or
think we
just
should
a
apply the
different-
same mechanism. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're almost at the end of the show. So this is the last question. Do you have any message for our para athletes who will competing in 12 ASEAN Para Games soon in June? Same at Cambodia.
I think our para-athletes will do better than our able-bodied athletes.
Yeah.
Go, go, go.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
best.
Yeah. I also pray the same thing, and I believe they can do it, and they will keep our marwah of sports in in Para Games. Good luck to them. Selamat berjuang.
Thank you. So guys, good luck, para athlete. Maybe we will invite some of the para athletes soon. So let's wrap it up for today. I'm so pleased to have both of you in the studio.
Thank you, thank
so
you.
much with your experience. I feel flattered. Thank you for your sharing and life experience. So guys, we will be releasing more episode. And for those who watch this, ensure that you are following Sinar Daily Updates. And that's all I have for today. I'm Adila Jaisam, your host for Sport Matters. Goodbye.